percussion on a whole nother level, coming from my mind.
Hello my friend, welcome to my channel. So, you wonder, what is the nationalities of the Attack on Titan characters? Well, here's my theory. Number 1, we'll look at Eren first. Eren is a Turkish name that means saint. Jäger is clearly German, and a variation for Jäger, which means hunter. By that logic, Eren has Turkish and German roots. The German part was obvious from the beginning, everyone can tell right away just from the name. But the possibility of Turkish ancestry does not surprise me. It is going to sound silly, but I'll say it anyway. Way before I considered the origins of his name and thought of it as merely the Japanese way of pronouncing Helen. You know, Helen, Eren. I thought that during the ending credits he looked Turkish. He is drawn differently than usual, of course, to the point I started referring to him as Turkish Eren whenever his close-up came up. I found that even Mikasa gave me strong vibes for a nationality which we will discuss later. Based on their names, I turned out to be spot on about both of them. Anyway, it is just an ending sequence, doesn't say much, right? True, let's consider his appearance canonically. To put it simply, Eren does not look non-Turkish. In fact, it is obvious he is not 100% Western Europe like other characters. The same way Mikasa looks Asian, you could say. But then again, a lot of us will have been affected by the Japanese-sounding anime. He is fairly tan, and although I wouldn't call Turkish people tan the same way I wouldn't call Greek people that, it is a sort of common trait. Not as much as people would think, but then again, after getting enough sun to become less white and more golden. So even though I wouldn't call Turkish people tan, perhaps a foreigner or a non-Mediterranean person would. So Eren's skin tone can count as evidence to support a Turkish ancestry. I may also mention his very bright eye color. We get a lot of Turkish shows, and most of the actors have really light eyes. Even though they are not uncommon for Europeans, they will be combined with fairer skin and hair. The difference with them is that they will have dark hair and skin that is not really light, not necessarily dark in my opinion, though it can be the case. That set of coloring, along with more Eastern rather than Western looking features, it is possible. Of course, don't look at him and go Turkish, no doubt about it, especially when it is likely that he is mixed with German. If we take a look at his mother, she is more like it. From the first time I saw her, I thought she must have come from the eastern side of the European scale. Had not necessarily thought as far as Turkey, definitely not beyond that. Not much I can say about his father. I really can't tell, but if someone told me he's German, I'd believe them. Considering Jäger is his last name, it is most likely the case. Mikasa Ackerman. Mikasa sounds Japanese, and Ackerman sounds German. Yes, Mikasa it is in fact Japanese, which makes sense since it is established that she has ancient ancestry. Ackerman is German for field man, but it is also associated with Ackerman, a Swedish surname. The reason I'm bringing this up is because during the credits, I thought she looked Scandinavian, which is Norwegian to be more specific, but that is just what popped into my head first. We know for sure her mother was Asian, Japanese most likely. Considering Mikasa's name, her father was not. He could have been either German or Swedish, but if hair color is an indication, Swedish is a bigger possibility. We will leave it at that. Pick the theory you like. Armin Arlet. This is tough. For Arlet, the best I could find is that it is a surname used in Sweden. Its meaning is unknown. As for Armin, I had the opposite problem. Too many origins. To name a few, it is a Persian name, a Germanic name, even an ancient Greek name. With the power of logic and a quick Google search, we can rule out 1 and 3 and keep that it is German, with Herman as a variant. For blonde and blue-eyed Armin, Scandinavian or German roots are not surprising. Sasha Braus. It is hard to tell from Sasha. We are looking at Germany, Russia and many others. Her surname does not make things any easier since it is hard to figure out how it is actually spelled. If we take Braus, we get German for roaring. Her appearance does not give many clues. She does not have any features that pinpoint to a certain ancestry or rule many out, so German is the most probable. John Kirstein. Even though John is a French name, any spelling of Kirstein is German. All we get from his look is that he's Caucasian, most likely Western European. With the presence of this many German names, at this point we can start to speculate about what geographical area the walls cover. I would say France to be honest, because we can already guess it is in Europe and because of the climate. But it could be near the south of Germany. I wouldn't place it too north because it doesn't rain that much, but not that close to the Mediterranean either. But I would say more south than north of course. It looks like it is warm there. Annie Leonhardt. Leonhardt comes up with German and Dutch, and if I had to guess, I would say it means lion's heart. It is Annie we are talking about. It is not unlikely. Her first name is too common to be found in one or even a small bunch of countries. A lot of people go on about her being Russian, but since I have not read the manga to know if it is stated, and to be frank, I don't believe it is, I cannot take it into account. I don't know whether it has anything to do with her look. Then again, blonde women can be found in different parts of the world, Netherlands and Germany included. With everything we have now, they are the safest assumptions. Connie Springer. Connie is a name of Latin origin, short for Constance, and Springer has Middle English and Swedish origins. It shares roots with the German, Dutch, and Yiddish words for leap. His look also doesn't give many clues other than Caucasian, but from his name we can assume he is Western European, most likely German, since so far all characters seem to have such an ancestry. Reiner Braun. Not much analysis needed, he is German. Bertholdt Hoover. Same, German. Marco Both. Both is an unusual German surname, and Marco is a name deriving from the Latin Marcus and used in many countries, also most likely German. Krista Lenz. This is an interesting case. Her first name is an Eastern European form of the name Christian, and Lenz, which had many spelling and variants, ultimately stems from Laurentium, literally the city of laurels. It is associated with names such as Lawrence and Lawrence. It became a popular name among Christians, and here is where it gets interesting. Krista means follower of Christ. With a very European look, and Lenz being a German surname, she is probably German, perhaps Eastern German. Ymir. This is the best one. Ymir is a Nordic name and is used in Iceland. Ymir is also a figure in Norse mythology. Interestingly enough, that figure is male, and that name seems to be used for males exclusively. Erwin Smith. Erwin is a Germanic name, and Smith is a name that originated in England. That, along with his look, point towards a German and English ancestry. Levi. Some people spell it Revile and wrongly assume he is French. He is not, since Revile is not his bloody name. Now that we have heard it in the anime enough, we know it is pronounced Ribai. Which do you think is closer? So Levi is the Hebrew word for joining, and in the Bible, he was the founder of the tribe of Levi. Now, Heicho's appearance is pretty ambiguous in my opinion, and I can't really determine his nationality from that. The safest assumption is that he is Jewish, specifically from the Israeli tribe of Levi. According to Jewish tradition, people with that surname are Levites. That might not be the case though, since it is not definite whether Levi is his first or last name. Hanji Zo. Could not find anything definite on Hanji. As for Zo, it is a name used in many countries. It originates from the Greek word for life, but since Hanji is not Greek, we cannot conclude that she is. Also, I don't believe of all people any Greeks would have survived. Then again, with so many of them living in Germany, you never know. If Mikasa is the last Asian when the Chinese population is well over 1 billion, I really don't think there's a great chance many would have survived out of a pool of 10 million. So I cannot find Hanji Zo nationality. Thank you very much for checking this video. I'll see you later.